I'm blue. If I was green, I would die. If I was green, I would die. If I was. This video was inspired by a gay man choosing to lock his closet with thousands of vibranium locks just so he can live the white picket fence, asymmetrical house, American family lifestyle. While wanting a nuclear family isn't the worst thing in the world, picking a wife off the simple fact that she is in love with you and able to give you your nuclear family is not on the list of good things to do. The poor wife went into her marriage believing that her husband loved her and wanted to build a family with her because of that love, only to find out on one of his inebriated nights that it was all a facade just so he could live a straight man's life. Now that closeted gay man is asking the Reddit universe if he's the asshole for tricking someone into believing that he was the one. I'm Nakia Bella, and this is my channel, Faux Intellectual, where I may sound smart, but I just like to read a lot and have at least a little bit of media literacy. I write on Substack. My last video was me reading and giving some visuals to my essay I put on my newsletter called Professional Yapping. The essay was about me being an anti-natalist. Go check it out. Please like if you like, comment if you want to comment, and subscribe if you're curious. I'm active on Blue Sky where, surprise surprise, you still see arguments and think pieces just with more substance. Onto the video. I don't understand people. I mean, I do, but I don't if you catch my drift. They say you cannot choose to be gay since you don't choose to be straight, but this man chose to be straight at another person's expense. He took away her right to choose by letting her commit to lies. This is the type of behavior people support when they try to conversion therapy the gay away, but in this person's case, his parents would have supported his sexuality. This heartbreaking case reminded me of Trump's policy page that makes my stomach turn every time I have to go in there to get my evidence to back my claims. Just so we can get this part out of the way, one of Trump's policies involve a plan to protect children from left-wing gender insanity. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender. I find this policy funny in a disturbing way because while trying to fight against diversity, Trump and his supporters are doing what they claim the Democrats are doing, but reverse. Oh, I'm sorry, it's what they are trying to do. Policing people because they believe their way is right and progressive way is wrong. The science backs progressives, but because the science backs them, Republicans must claim that corporations behind these studies are being paid off to present false data. Scientists can't be trusted even though they've been trusted with everything else in our society. They've been trusted enough to be given money to conduct their research for everything that provides us convenience. But oh no, their research has found that you can't pray the gay away. They're just a bunch of leftist propagandists. I can't even say that right. Trust me, the left and Democrats don't have as much power as people think they do. For both parties, they have had stronger influence in certain areas, but to claim mainstream media and other companies are in Democrats' pockets is an overstatement. I'll be making a video about indoctrination soon whenever I get all of my ducks in a row, but just know that kids are not being taught that they were born the wrong gender. Just that some people may feel that way, and that some people have same-sex parents, and that some people may turn out to be gay or transgender. LGBT kids have always been bullied, even in my time. I graduated high school 2016, and the bullying is still rampant today. Teachers teach about different people and sometimes different cultures, so bullying does not disturb their learning environment. An article published by chalkbeat.org says, for all the attention to LGBTQ issues received in national politics, teachers said topics related to gender identity and sexual orientation rarely come up, and many said they don't believe these topics should be taught in school. The article also states, adults and teens felt more comfortable with teachers teaching about racism than LGBT issues. They are also more comfortable with teachers talking about past injustices than present-day inequality, and more comfortable with gay rights than trans rights. And they were more comfortable with any of these topics coming up at a high school level, though many students reported their own discomfort. The lies and misinformation about gay being forced down children's throats has caused people to overlook articles like these. No one ever sits and goes, I wonder if this is really happening. I wondered. I don't want to be in an echo chamber. I want to know the truth. I use my anecdotal evidence mixed with my research to come to my conclusions. Again, when I was in high school, besides us having a gay straight alliance club, there were no mention of gay or trans besides in those small groups. Even in the gay straight alliance club, there wasn't any sexuality talk. Sexuality talk. There was mental health talk related to sexuality, but other than that, it was very minor friendly and promoted togetherness. Teachers feared the confrontation with parents. Teachers have feared these confrontations for decades in all different types of subjects, especially sex ed. Don't get me started on the sex ed shit. Oh my gosh. One more excerpt from the article and we're moving on. David Toe, an AP English Honors Philosophy and Environmental Leadership teacher, said he doesn't shy away from topics that are politicized in the general culture because of the needs of his students. He states, for the students that I work with, Things like race and racism, climate change, anti-Semitism, LGBT plus issues are not theoretical, abstract social justice issues. For most of my students, it describes their lived experience. In many ways, conversations around them are less controversial or politically charged for them than I think it is at the culture as a whole. You tell them, Mr. David, school is for education, and even if the education is a touchy subject, you handle it with grace and you let the children discuss how they feel and what they think. It is not to indoctrinate, it is to make them think. On that note, we can go back to Trump's policy, then wrap up with our lovely gay redditor who tore a woman's heart out. Trump says, as a part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. There's a lot to say about this quote of his, so I'll start with the promotion of positive education about the nuclear family. I remember being taught about nuclear families and the rest of the families that I can't remember right now, but nuclear was definitely the big dog of the group. For those that aren't hip to what indoctrination is, it is the process of teaching a group or person to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. This isn't to say that nuclear families are a bad thing to accept, but to instill positive education comes too close to home of instilling that nuclear is the only way to go when creating a family, or could make students feel it is the only right way without giving them room to think for themselves. When you teach in a way that manipulates students into believing your ideologies, that is indoctrination. Remember how I mentioned children with same sex parents before? Let's get to the other half of his policy, if we can even call it that. The roles of mothers and fathers in celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. This type of speech alienates the children with same sex parents as if their family isn't a real family. And I don't know about you, but I actually do care about kids and don't use them as a political weapon to get my point across and then ignore them. I'm not a grifter. In this current climate, it doesn't seem like we're celebrating what makes men and women different and unique, but some are celebrating in bad faith while others celebrate in good faith. Saying men are always the logical ones and women can't be trusted to make their own decisions or decisions for this country is not celebrating our differences. That's just outright misogyny and incorrect on top of that. Saying women are more emotional than men simply because a lot of men display their emotions through anger instead of sadness is misogyny. While we have our differences, the humanity in all of us is the same. We all experience emotion, but through societal standards, we are taught differently according to our sexes. Our sexes, not because it's just what it is, biologically. Most men are stronger than women, so they will have most of the physical labor jobs. But there are women who are just as strong or stronger than some men that would do better in these jobs as well. But with that particular side of the conversation, a lot of women don't go into these jobs, even if they have the might. have the might because sexual harassment is prevalent in these environments according to some shared experiences. Even outside of these jobs, sexual harassment is a thing, so it's not hard to believe it is experienced in male-dominated fields. I wouldn't say that the Marxist and lunatic left are trying to erase what makes us unique. They are just trying to bring to light that we're not as different as society says we are. There are too many old ideals in the society that needs to be pushed, and this sexist one is the one that needs to be pushed away immediately. Fathers can be stay-at-home dads, mothers can work instead. There are men out here that don't want to subscribe to the societal standards put on men from the 1920s. There are women out here that don't want to subscribe to the societal standards put on women as well, and there should be nothing wrong with that. With the world constantly changing, why should society's standards stay stagnant? That doesn't make sense scientifically, metaphorically, mentally. Just being silly, but I'm being serious. The nuclear family and its standards does not work for everyone. When people start living by their own standards, they are way happier. When a husband and wife work together and find what works best for them, whether it's him working or her working, they are happier and more likely to stay together. I see divorce rates are a concern for the right, and they feel as if women are divorcing for trivial reasons, but throughout history, wives have not gotten credit for their hard work like raising the kids, making the home a home, taking care of the husband as well, on top of any other family priorities related to holidays, doctor's appointments, and so on and so forth. When a married couple works as an actual unit and not a dictatorship, they are more likely to make it to 20, 30, 40, and 50 years of marriage. In media, men are taught that having a wife is like having a ball and chain on your ankle, just slavery until you die. What makes you think, after constantly seeing that type of media, that boys will still see girls as human beings that have death to them, and to show interest in that death in order to create a lasting bond and strong family? Adults can see those as jokes, but it does something psychologically that needs to be taken more seriously. On to the Reddit post that inspired this. This situation is what I'd imagine the world will be like if Trump's policies strongly go into effect. You can call this far fetched or fear mongering if you have that much paranoia in your heart, but this is what you call a hypothesis, which is a proposition made as a basis for reasoning without any assumption of its truth. In more digestible words, we can come back to this video in a decade or more to see how close I am, since we'd need time for children to grow up in this hypothesized world. I will have the screenshots up from @AskAubrey_Aubrey on Twitter while I read them. She got the screenshots from Reddit. They are not fabricated. I will not link the original Reddit post because even though I don't care for this person's actions, I don't want them getting harassed by an even wider audience. It's a heartbreaking situation, and we are all flawed beings. I, 45 male, grew up with healthy role models and a good family dynamic. My dad loved my mom, as well as my sisters and I. I spent my childhood anticipating the day that I would get to have this kind of family myself and was excited for how wonderful it'd be. Unfortunately, I found out around 15 years old that I am only attracted to men. This realization destroyed me inside and I didn't know what to do. I thought I wouldn't be able to live the life I dreamed of. I wouldn't get to have kids or a family like I hoped. I tried reading some self-help books about it and nothing in them would work. I felt too ashamed to even ask for therapy to fix it. However, eventually I decided to learn for myself how to live a normal life and I chose to push myself into a normal lifestyle. I ended up meeting my wife Savannah, 44 female, senior year of high school, and she was in love with me. I chose to date her and we ended up married 9 years later. We now have 3 kids together, 17 female, 13 female, and 10 female, and I've been so proud of the life I was able to build for myself. I felt like I truly beat my attraction issue, and even if I could never truly see Savannah the same way she saw me, I at least had a wife. Savannah and I had a party with family for 17's birthday, and we had gone a bit tipsy, me more so than Savannah. While with her and my parents in the room, we started talking about everything, and I slipped up saying, I'm glad things turned out the way they did, even though I thought I'd never get to this point. My parents and Savannah questioned it, and I ended up drunkenly explaining everything about how I found out I was attracted to men, how I thought I'd never be able to fix it, and I'd never get the life I wanted, and how I powered through, chose to live a normal life, and married Savannah and had kids. They were all shocked. Savannah asked if I actually felt anything for her, and I admitted I don't, but I chose her anyways, and that was enough for me. My parents flipped out and asked why I didn't tell them anything and that they would have accepted me. I tried to explain that acceptance wasn't what I wanted, that I wanted to live the traditional family life, and I couldn't if I chose that lifestyle. It ended in a big fight, and Savannah told me that she needs time to think about what she wants to do, but she doesn't think she can stay with me. My family is falling apart now. My kids can tell something is wrong, but they don't know what happened. My parents are disappointed in me for using Savannah, which I didn't. And Savannah is considering ending things. It feels like my efforts might be for nothing soon, and I don't know what to do anymore. Am I the asshole for choosing a normal life? All right. That was a lot, but so little at the same time. A lot could be said about this, but I don't want this video to be an hour long. I feel this is a reason why kids should not be sheltered when it comes to diversity. Of course, parental guidelines are always a necessity and encouraged, but things are as simple as showing families with same-sex parents, split parents, or parents sharing something as light as a kiss, no matter the sexuality, should not be hidden. I say this because there was nothing wrong with him admiring his parents and the love his father had and has for his mother. That is beautiful and something a lot of people don't have. I'm not saying the parents did anything wrong either. People don't often think about the type of people their children don't see. Their children are often around their families who look like them and think like them most of the time. This is why books are a thing, for children to look into a world that's more diverse than their own. They can find the beauty that's outside their bubble and know that certain boundaries don't exist, just a boundary society has placed on us due to what category of society we're in. These boundaries are societal standards that hurt all of us, societal standards that have led men into depression and suicide, societal standards that have put children in unstable situations, societal standards that have set women up for failure, societal standards that have hurt children and made them unhappy. Moving on, he says his confession came out at his 17-year-old daughter's birthday party and that he got a little tipsy, but more so than Savannah. So you were drunk. Glad we cleared that up. His wife asks him if he feels anything for her, and he says no. Not even a little bit of love for the fact that she helped you carry out your dream life. No love for the woman that made your home a home, made your dreams come true. You robbed someone of their life because you were robbing yourself. You felt that because you had to sacrifice a part of yourself by putting it away, that someone else must be sacrificing along with you. But the difference is they did not consent to sacrifice. They thought they signed up for the usual sacrifices in marriage. Scratch that. They thought they signed up for compromise, not sacrifice. I believe there should be no sacrificing in love, but accommodation. After saying that he felt nothing for her, he says that he chose her anyways, and that was enough for him. But fuck what's good for her. The selfishness seeps through this whole post, and the immature part of me wants to link it, but he will receive whatever is meant for him. I'm only here to teach people not to be like this. Losing yourself, finding yourself, losing yourself again, molding and evolving are all a part of this life if you care about your quality of life. This man was told not to accept himself, and he may have something psychologically going on as well to be this narcissistic. Not to diagnose strangers, but that is narcissistic behavior. Everything must go their way, even if they have to manipulate. He manipulated real bad, bad enough to have three daughters, one about to graduate, another entering high school if she isn't there already, and another in elementary. He has manipulated to the highest level. He kept up the facade for 20 plus years. Then wonders why his wife had to walk away and think about what she was going to do. Of course, she can't stay with you. You won't love her, and if nothing breaks a person's heart more, it's finding out their lover never loved them from the very beginning. He built his love and his life on lies. He chose a foundation made out of twigs and somehow kept it standing for this long. While the children know something is wrong, they don't know why something is wrong, but it's bound to come out sometime. I can't imagine what a child would feel like in this situation. While their father surely loves them because he manipulated so much just to have them, they may love their mother too much to let him slide so easily. Children of divorced parents have felt something similar to this. I love both of my parents, but one had one done more wrong than the other, and that's when you learn a lot. So this entire situation right here is what I imagine children will be like in adulthood if Trump's policies are accepted. This can read as an extreme hypothesis, but when you're interested in things like this, you have to look at all avenues. I suppose the message for this video is don't let online indoctrination suck you up and never spit you out. I hope I do the topic justice. It may be split into multiple parts or even a series to point out specific propaganda that is a part of indoctrination. There's new media coming out every day, so it'll be a hoop collecting all of that. That's all I have for you today. Check out my link tree below, and my references will also be linked in the description. I appreciate your time, and if you don't dislike the video, please leave a like so someone that may love it can find it. I just started getting more invested in my Ko-Fi and realized that it's just another Patreon, so if you want to see the behind the scenes of this video, go check it out. Behind the scenes access is in my green tier, which is only $3 a month. I'm ripping my heart out. I'm ripping my heart out and showing you people. At least give a little something. Alright, bye now.